Welcome, everyone. It is not Monday, but it is Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy, Week 8. And count them. We've got the shackles have been lifted. We have four player signings to announce here this week. And then our plan next week. Uh, Rick, we should probably let people know who's on the roster before FanFest, don't you think?
Sure.
Seems
Whatever floats your
reasonable.
boat, Daryl.
That's right. It is all about me and whatever floats my boat. You are right. Um, the plan next week, since we'll be in town for spring training at that point, we'll do a show in person on Tuesday and we'll do another one on Thursday. And then
Nice.
after that, you and I will have that roof of the dugout session at Fan Fest, and then we'll be off and running. So
The
that's our
official
plan.
the official kickoff of the season, right?
That's it. That's it. So at this point in time, there are 12 signings who have yet to be announced. And as this show airs, it is April 1st. That is no fools. You may have seen some other announcements earlier today that are very much fools, but that is not this. We have four tonight, and there's 12 to announce. And like we've talked about at length, some of these had to wait until April 1st. So Rick, before we get into it, how are you? What's shaking in your neck of the woods?
I'm well. I'm good. Just super busy. Just there's been more players released this year than I anticipated, much more than last year, and um, just grinding a little bit, trying to finalize our roster, just like everybody else is. But um, it's the fun time of year, and we're up against it in terms of trying to get things done before the start of training camp. But I like the way things are progressing for our club. Still need a couple extra pieces, but I think we're in a pretty good place.
The fun time of year for you used to be February. Now it's all squished together here in a couple
Yeah, well,
weeks.
yeah. You used to be able to get a lot more done earlier in March, and sometimes if you had some good fortune, you could kind of chill out a little bit for a week or 10 days before you left town. But it doesn't seem to be the case this year. It looks like you're going to be working right up to it and through it. So that's just the way it is now, and I don't have a problem with it. Just got to adapt with the times and roll with it.
Truth be told, we are recording this session on Monday. You've got the Atlantic League Pro Days in Hagerstown this week. So, as this is airing, you're probably wrapping things up at Meredith Park and seeing all of your managerial friends. And I guess technically, I should say, you'll be drafting somebody from that. So, I guess technically, there's going to be 13 names that we still need to announce. So. What are you looking for when you go there?
Well, that's a really good question, Daryl. I don't know that I'm looking for anything there, to be honest with you. We'll just see what pops open and maybe catches my eye. We picked last, so there wasn't really much available last year when we picked at this point. So I'm probably looking at more of the same this year. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe a local Pennsylvania kid. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for cleaning up for us here this morning. You look good. Did you get your walk in?
No, it started to rain when I was going to go walk, and the wind picked up, so I decided not to walk. But I still got time to get it in this morning before I got to get to Hagerstown.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, we've got four player signings on this week's show. We've got two position players, two pitchers. So, Rick, let's turn it over to you for the first one. This is a guy that agreed with you a while back. Who do we have first?
Yeah, we signed outfielder Devontae Brown. I'm really excited about his addition. He got 3 years of Double A experience and got some big time power in that bat. Um, can steal bags, plays multiple outfield positions. Really kind of fits that mold as to what we like here in York. And still very hungry, still very motivated, and really good college career at NC State. And just looking for big things out of Devontae.
Right-hand hitter, 26 years old. He was a signee of the Toronto Blue Jays in 2022, 4 years in their system. He's from Georgia. Um, and yeah, career 46 doubles, 38 homers, 50 steals, some power, some speed. NC State, part of some great teams there. So, is he more of a middle of the order guy, or is he more of a speed type that is toward the top? What are we looking at?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know. Honestly, I never really put too much stock into trying to see where people are going to fit in that order right now. But I don't think he really profiles as the top of the order guy. I think it's more of a middle guy that can steal some bags and run a little bit for you. So I don't know. I got to wait till we get it on the job site and look at it and see how everybody else, how it all fits together. Not sure, Daryl, but you know how I like to have a little bit of balance in that lineup. So I'm guessing someone like Devontae could be anywhere from 3 to 7 or 8. I just don't know just yet.
Yeah. Some interesting tidbits on him. He was a Blue Jays organization all-star along the way. There was one year, actually his first year. I didn't even know that this award, if you want to call it that, existed. But Baseball America named him the Blue Jays' best late round pick or non-drafted free agent. He was a non-drafted free agent signing, so they certainly thought highly of him. One thing I noticed, Rick, is and I look at all these stats and I can't remember any of them unless I unless I document them, which I did. But all throughout these years for Devontae, he's ranked very highly in his leagues in walk percentage. It looks like he's a guy that will work the strike zone a little bit for you.
Yeah, I mean, willing to take a pitch or two, and obviously willing to take the walk, which obviously we like a lot in York. We value the base on balls, especially if we can run or that player can run and steal bags, and that's aggressive going first to third. So it's generally a good recipe for some run scoring success. So um, there's some swing and miss in there, but there's also some ability to draw that walk. So excited about the potential from Devontae.
Yeah. Uh, Another nugget on Devontae Brown when he was at NC State, and some folks might remember this. Uh, they were an outstanding team. They went to the College World Series in 2021. He had some huge hits during that run, some homers, whatnot. But they had a game, and eventually they had to bow out of the College World Series because they didn't have enough players. They had a COVID outbreak on their team. It was the year after all of that. So it became kind of like the, I don't know, cult following or whatever. The nickname was Pack 13 because they're the Wolf Pack, and they played a game against Vanderbilt. They only had 13 active players. And he was one of them, and he made the number one play on Sports Center top 10 with a diving catch in that game in Omaha, but ultimately they had to bow out. But they were a great team. He was a huge part of it. Obviously, he's played at some high level baseball to say the least, and did reach AAA with the Blue Jays at Buffalo last year as part of that. So Devontae Brown, excited to see him here, Rick. That's a good signing, and you've been holding on to that one for a while.
Yeah, obviously he got released the last summer. We reached out at one point, and Jeffrey Whaler had played with him, good friends with him, and obviously we had a couple other Blue Jay friends on the club last year. All said really good things about him, but glad to have him this year, and looking forward to him helping us win some games.
All right, Devontae Brown, our first of four signings here this week. We'll take a break here on Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy. And we've got a whole lot more on the other side. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back here on Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy. Rick Forney joining us on the Zoom. You can see both of our smiling faces if you want to watch this program on YouTube. And of course, that'll be on Home Team Network before the season begins when everything moves over. But Rick, we had Devontae Brown announced in our first segment. Really strong addition to your outfield. And now you've got another guy, another position player. We got two pitchers in the final segment, but another position player who had a phenomenal college career. I'm a little surprised he's available, but tell us about who player number two is this week.
Yeah, we've signed kind of, I would call him a super utility type player. Um, Infielder, outfielder Jackson Ross comes to us from the Nationals organization. Um, Really good college career, started at Florida Atlantic and had some really, really good years, then transferred to Mississippi, University of Mississippi, which is obviously Ole Miss, but had a great season at Ole Miss, hit 280 with a 430 on base percentage, stole some bags, extra base hits, and walked more than he struck out in a really good conference that's full with high round draft pick pitchers that are, you're going to run into some really good arms on the weekends. And somehow he found a way to put up some very, very impressive numbers. Just unfortunately, it looks like he maybe wasn't in the right place in terms of where to start out his pro career and never really got a consistent opportunity to play. But really excited about his upside and athletic ability. And we love the fact that he has multiple gloves and anxious to get a good look at him.
Yeah, it's weird. He was a ninth round pick of the Nationals in 2024. Didn't get on the field in their organization until last year. And I don't think that's abnormal. I know that they stash some guys at the training site or whatever,
Yeah.
developmental. But, last year got off to a pretty good start with Fredericksburg. As a matter of fact, uh, with the Fred Nats, they call them, the Fredericksburg Nationals. So he hits 289, little over a month, almost 2 months at single A. His pro debut has an RBI double his first at bat, and then later in the game has a go-ahead two-run homer in the eighth. That's a pretty good pro debut. His very next game, he hits a walk-off home run in their home opener. So it's an unbelievable start to his pro career. Late May, he gets bumped up to high A at Wilmington and didn't hit a whole lot there. But I mean, Rick, that doesn't seem like an indictment on whether a guy can play or not. Sometimes he just needs the right environment, and hopefully we can give that to him here.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And it's really like his professional numbers are really on such a small sample size if you really think about it. And obviously got off to a great start, good enough to get himself promoted, but just couldn't stay in the mix and getting regular at bats once he got to high A. And for many reasons, maybe there was an injury there, maybe there's some people ahead of him in terms of prospects. Not exactly sure how it all shook out, but you would expect a guy with a college career, especially coming out of the SEC conference, to do really well at the low A level. And I'm not sure why it didn't translate to the high A level, but um, just kind of strange that he didn't really get an opportunity at least to go back to spring training for this year and compete for a job. But um, so sometimes there's so many variables involved in these clubs' decision making that, with Jackson being 26 for the 26th season, that maybe age factored into some of this. And ultimately, the question gets asked is, do we see this guy playing in the big leagues for our organization? And if that answer is no, then they don't keep you around much more as a just in case type body. They let you go because they don't want to pay, and you're only allowed 165 domestic players. So um, that pro opportunity was really short. It got off to an unbelievable start. Just for whatever reason, just came to a quick stop. But there's some upside to this kid, and I think if we could find a way to keep him stimulated and involved on the regular basis, that I think he could be a real guy in the Atlantic League, especially in our ballpark.
Jackson Ross, he'll turn 26 next week. So happy birthday early, Jackson. He's from Florida. So I believe he's one of the guys that Wolfie has connected with already, which is awesome. Um, and to your point about his versatility, Rick, when he was at Florida Atlantic, he started every game at third base. That's where he played every day. He moves to Ole Miss and he played first base and outfield, and not third base at all. I guess they already had a guy there. So I know I like to pigeonhole you into Hey, where's the guy going to play in your lineup, Rick? But he sounds like he truly is one that could be absolutely anywhere for you.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be first, it's going to be third, it's going to be left, it's going to be right, it's going to be DH. I mean, he can move around a little bit and do some things. So I'm not ready to tell you that he's going to be my everyday third baseman or everyday first baseman. Every day, I don't know where that guy's going to end up, but I think he's going to be a good player, and we need to find a way to get that young man on the field.
Very bright as well. He was a 4.0 student, wants to go to med school eventually. So, and he's got a brother that pitched at Samford, was the SoCon pitcher of the year, was drafted by the Twins, and is off to a great start in his pro career. So, Jackson Ross, one of two Ross boys who are in the pro game, and we're very excited to have Jackson coming here to York this season. Devontae Brown, Jackson Ross, the two position players announced so far this week. We'll take a break, and we've got two pitchers coming up in our next segment, one returner and one with a long big league career. We'll tell you about that when we come back here on Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy. Welcome back here on Rev's Hot Stove Weekly, presented by Shipley Energy. Once again, Devontae Brown, outfielder, Jackson Ross, everything. Those are the first two signings announced by Rick here this week. Rick will wrap it up here in segment three. Um, and by the way, Chris Valamont wanted to be a guest on one of these shows, but we have so many signings. I think we're just gonna have to get him in person in spring training. And all he wanted to talk about anyway is the way that I eat my chicken. That's his favorite topic to bring up. So it's gonna have to wait till next week, I think. But
Something to talk about, I guess.
yeah, yeah, it's material.
Well,
Um,
be glad
but
that he wants to talk to you.
yeah, I'm blessed. I am grateful for that. Two pitchers to wrap it up, and Rick, one of these guys returning to York, he was an unknown a year ago at this time, a rookie. Who do we have coming back?
Yeah, we signed, well, re-signed Jordan Morales. He did a really, really good job for us last year. Um, with no pro experience coming into a very, very difficult league. And I thought overall the body of work was really good, and he gave us what we needed. There's times, which is to be expected for young players, that he battled some inconsistency with his strike throwing. And there was a couple spells in there where he needed to miss a little bit of time because his arm wasn't. There was problems, so we needed to kind of rest him here and there. But his spot started through long relief, short relief, but ultimately ended up doing a really good job for us and was a big piece to our bullpen all year. And went to Puerto Rico for winter ball and was just fantastic down there, which is a great league for him to pitch, especially if you throw strikes. Just very hard ballparks to hit home runs in. And he attacked the zone down there, was a little bit better at that. Wound up pitching in the Caribbean World Series and just had a really, really good winter ball session down there. And um, just a really good season in 25 for Jordan. So anxious to get him back, and hopefully he can be a little bit more for us in 26.
Yeah, 22 outings in relief, seven starts for you last year. He made your opening starting rotation, and then that changed. I think it was his third start. He had some cramping in his arm that he had to work through, and then you brought him back in the bullpen role. But what would be, a next step for him this year? What do you need to see from him coming in to take that next step?
Just being more efficient with his strike throwing, eliminate the walks, the hit by pitches, the wild pitches, just little things, taking care of the baseball. Just looking a little more advanced on the mound than what he looked like last year. And everybody said he looked really good in winter ball, and he was their guy on their team. So um, yeah, just looking for him to have just a little bit more mature look on how he's executing pitches out there.
Stuff wise, it's not a question, is it?
No, he's got really good stuff. When he's feeling good for a little guy, he's pretty firm. It's 91, 93, and he'll throw it to both sides of the plate. Breaking ball at times can be really, really good. Change-up's a little bit inconsistent, but the stuff is for sure there.
All right, Jordan Morales coming back. 5'10 lefty, 25-year-old from Souderton, PA, just down the road in the Philly area. Last year, 1-1 with a 5.69 ERA. A couple of things on that. 5.69 is probably the new 4.69. It's not what it used to be. It's not bad. And then, like you said, he had a couple of those speed bumps to overcome, but looking for a little bit more of that consistency this year. Had a terrific college career at Purdue the year before. So, going from that to the MLB Draft League to his first pro season. And of course, he was at Penn State and LaSalle before his Purdue days as well. Just a little refresher on his background. Our fans obviously know him pretty well from last season. So, Rick, we wrap it up this week with a big league veteran added to your pitching staff, and he's probably going to have some of the more major league experience of any player that we'll see in the league this season. So, who do you have to round it out this week?
Yeah, we signed left-handed pitcher Joely Rodriguez. Um, Excited, obviously, about the addition of Joely and the potential that he has, and um, experienced arm. A lot of big league time, a lot of time in Asia. Um, Made some life-changing money in the big leagues, and he reached out to Joe. Joe had met him a few years ago, where he was working in the off season doing lessons. I guess Joe Ellie lives in Pennsylvania now. Um, Met Joe and kind of reached out to Joe 2 months ago or a month ago about playing in the Atlantic League this year, and he didn't want to go to Mexico. And so Joe texted me and sent me his number and stuff, and I just kind of took over from there and had a lot of conversations with him. And he seems really excited about the opportunity to stay closer to home instead of going to Mexico. And hopefully he can get himself back to what he was, because he was a pretty dynamic guy for a while.
He sure was. He's 34 years old now. Was last in the majors in 2024, just 2 years ago with the Red Sox. I mean, he had great a great year in 2022 with the Mets. He had some of the highest swing and miss rates and missed barrels, some of those StatCast. I mean, he's like in the 95th percentile of those that season as far as left-hand big league relievers. He had been traded that April from the Yankees to the Mets, and the year before, when he ended up with the Yankees, he was a big part of their second half run for a postseason push. Came up initially in the big leagues with the Phillies and then was with the Rangers. And over in Japan, he was one of the top relievers in the Japanese big leagues for a couple of years. He absolutely dominated over there. So after all this time, Rick, he's been in 182 major league games. If you add up his entire career, he's been in 601 games at all levels. And I assume at this point he is a reliever solely at this point. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Have you heard stuff, 34 years old? How's his stuff?
No, he said he's okay. I don't know. I haven't did too much research on that. I'd rather just kind of wait to see it with my own eyes. I'm assuming it's probably down from what it used to be. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in this situation where he's exploring indie ball. But if he can get remotely close to back to what he was at one point, which wasn't that long ago. I mean, 24, he was really good in AAA. So if he can get some of that going, then he's going to be a real piece for us. And hopefully, he can advance his career back to affiliated ball and maybe find his way into a big league bullpen somewhere.
Certainly could. He pitched for former Rev Chad Tracy, who was his manager at AAA Worcester a couple of years back. But yeah, I mean, I was digging into his career, Rick, and some of the stuff that he did, and including over in Japan. I mean, uh, that 2019 season over there, he basically was the setup man of the year, basically over in the Japanese big leagues. So.
I
Uh,
wonder if he had some battles with Tomo.
he very, I bet you he did. And he pitched for the Chunichi Dragons when he was over there. So, nice. All right, Rick. Well, good solid four here this week, and next week we'll do this in person after a couple of your first spring training workouts. Tuesday and Thursday is the plan next week, and then there will be no more secrets.
Yeah, I mean, we don't like to keep those anyway. We like to let everybody know what we got going on here in York and especially our fans. So excited to be able to announce and introduce some of our players to our fans.
All right. Well, you enjoy yourself at the big event in Hagerstown this week.
Thanks, pal. We'll have a good time, I'm sure.
I wish I could join you.
Oh, you could. You're just choosing not to.
Very busy here.
Yeah, I bet. I
All
bet.
right.
I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for the time. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me. See you later, bud.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Revolution!